am a pup in a cup, and I saw evil omens. Once upon a time, a trailer called a puppy to action. And so the puppy? You want me to watch you? Alright.
Modernizing the other world also meant getting rid of some of the gender roles that Brian Young wasn't so crazy about in the original. He explained that, in our show, boys can be fairies, girls can be specialists, which we're totally on board with.
Munching popcorn while observing people who like everything they are given is a thing that makes life worth living. Funnily enough, it's exactly World of Winx that pokes fun at such critics. In all fairness, that video is not 100% fluff and positivity. It does put to the front concerns that everybody appears to have about the new series. I agree with part of it, disagree with part of it. However, the harbinger of the 10 plagues of social justice has been observed. A work praised for its virtue-signaling misandry for its stunning and brave challenge to evil, misogynist, patriarchal gender roles. And if you're familiar with other bodies of work praised for their assault on gender roles, and the surrounding controversy, all of which ended splendidly well, you have already detected that Fate, the SJ Winx Saga, is exhibiting similar symptoms. It's time to find the source, the actual interview, and see what Fate's showrunner said and what else did he have to say. Uh-oh, plot twist. It's not formatted as an interview. It's an article, alright. However, one in which the writer, Abigail Cohen, and Brian Young are fused into a single slab of text. Okay, let's distill some points. Said Brian Young.
And this is coming from a massive fantasy fan. I had my Dungeons and Dragons character when I was a kid, but it is very easy to spiral off into absurdity with stuff like this.
Sorry to burst your bubble, sir, but the pilot episode of Winx Club is a retelling of the story of the fall from the Book of Genesis. So much so that Bloom bites an apple before she begins to learn that fairies exist in her world. Liberty is taken, of course, because it's not a telling of the biblical story, but a cartoon about fairy women. However, by and large, the essence of the pilot is the story of the fall of man. Apart from the Old Testament, Winx Club is built on several other ancient belief systems, which are very powerful too. However, in its task to pass for a cartoon designed for little girls, Winx Club drowns its mythical elements in a sea of humorous and silly scenes. It does that job so successfully that everybody and their showrunner think it's just a ridiculous cartoon. The work of a good adaptation for adults would be to discover those myths, and while rebuilding the world, put emphasis on the mythical elements. At the same time, it would tone down significantly the immature and humorous elements. Actually, I think that's what others want from the cartoon itself. And now, it's time to pick up the hot potato of a topic. YouTube, get set to delist this pop from your search results again. The gender roles have arrived.
That meant challenging the outdated gender roles of the original animated series.
Said Brian Young.
In our show, boys can be fairies, girls can be specialists.
Part of Winx Club's world is that women become magic users known as fairies, and men become martial artists known as specialists. That's one of the cornerstones of the premise. Kick the cornerstone away, and just take another change that steers fate towards originality. Continued, Brian Young.
We're in the 21st century.
The seminal idea of Winx Club is indeed from the 20th century. However, Wikipedia level of research, which some apparently couldn't be bothered to do, reveals that after a small indication that the Magic Bloom cartoon might have been crafted in the 21st century too, production of Winx Club starts from the year 2002. That implies scrapping Magic Bloom, overhauling the character designs, and rewriting the plot. Barely there's a speck of dust that has survived the 21st century overhaul. Also, the topic of gender identity is not something from the 21st century. It's something that became fashionable in the second decade of the 21st century. Whenever the staff of, say, a Netflix original show seriously begins to speak about gender during the marketing phase, it's usually an indication of a product of such poor quality that it has no other straws to grasp at than its signals of virtue. But here is where the House of Cards falls apart.
This is where wingless fairies learn to master their powers, and where trainee warriors, known as specialists, guard the realm from the feared burned ones.
Wingless fairies, you say? Just how redundant, how utterly redundant is it to say that Winx is a wordplay of wings? Winged women. Women with wings. To hammer on that point even further, the comic book even shows how the 5 fairy students are consciously trying to figure out a name for their club. Let's turn our attention towards this, apparently unbookmarked by history, and its showrunner, Speech Bubble. All that being a public secret, I struggle to understand what kind of a non-native English speaker does it take to honestly not understand that Winx? Oh, United States, you say? What kind of Winx Club illiterate person does it take to... Oh dear. Liar! To summarize, there are things about Winx Club that shouldn't be a mystery to a fan and their showrunner. And they better be mystery to the showrunner. Because if it's not a case of mystery, It might be a case of arrogance. Fate, Winx in name only. During your childhood, adolescence, or young adulthood, starting January the 22nd, 2021.